I can't remember a time when my relationship with my body was easy. And I certainly can't remember ever truly loving my body. I've had moments where I've almost convinced myself I did, where I've come close to believing there was nothing wrong with my body and it was fine the way it was. But those moments are few and far between in the grand scheme of, an entire life of assessing my appearance for flaws and having no trouble finding them. I started fixating on my body at a pretty early age, and by the time I was 13, I was so obsessed with my perceived flaws that it was distressing to me. My body was a problem that I wanted desperately to fix, and it only got worse as I got older. Because every physical change and fluctuation I would go through, whether intentionally or not, only felt like new problems. It was a battle I was never going to win. Of course, it was a battle designed to be unwinnable, but that's a conversation for another time. Nevertheless, I spent years and years and years swinging between hating my body, trying to be okay with it, suffering from disordered eating habits and toxic fitness mindsets when I wasn't able to be okay with it, and pretending I was fine with my body, while somehow managing to have the cognitive dissonance to try to change it anyway. I've spent the majority of my life fighting the very thing that allows me to have a life. And when you put it like that, it's pretty hard to make it make sense. Although my struggle with my body has been much less intense in recent years, it is still going on, and realistically, it won't end today. But I do have a new perspective now that I didn't have for all those years that might have changed things for me in a big way, to a point where maybe I wouldn't still be struggling to accept my body today. The other night, I was getting ready for bed. I'd just gotten out of the shower, and I found myself looking in the mirror. My eyes lingered on the scars across my belly from my endometriosis surgery, and I thought, my body has been through a lot. And I could feel myself sort of soften. And then I thought, why should I care what my body looks like? In the face of all it's been through, all it can endure, all it can do, I'm supposed to give a fuck about its appearance? Recently, I've been in the process of evaluating what matters to me, like what really matters on a soul level. It's become really important to me to create a life consisting only of the meaning I make for myself, which means shedding all the things I've been programmed to care about that I never actually chose, rejecting the idea that anything has inherent meaning or importance, and deciding for myself what I find important. And I didn't choose to find meaning in arbitrary beauty standards. I never chose to believe my body is a problem that needs fixing. That's something that was forced upon me, brutally, by a cold, uncaring, capitalistic society, one that greatly benefits from my perpetual dissatisfaction with my body, I might add. But deep down, underneath the layers and layers of learned hatred and insecurity, I'm quite neutral about what my body looks like. I don't think it really matters at all. I simply don't believe there's any reason to value the shape and size and proportions of my body when those are the least interesting things about human bodies. This body doesn't exist to look perfect based on whatever the current idea of perfection is. That's not my body's purpose. That would be absurd. I'd say its purpose is to be a container for my consciousness, to carry me from experience to experience, to feel pleasure, to connect with people, to make art. My body is the reason I'm able to talk to you right now. That's the meaning I choose to make of my body. That's what I find important. I wish I could take back all the years I spent agonizing over my body and all of its supposed flaws. Of course, I can't do that, but what I can do is choose my own path forward. I can choose to love my body for everything it is, everything it allows me to feel and experience. I can choose to admire my body's resilience and ability to heal. I can even choose to love my body in the face of the resentment that often comes up while living with chronic illness. Because you know what? It's the only one I have. So, am I going to spend the rest of my life hating and punishing it for not being what I want it to be or what the world tells me it should be? Or am I going to treat it with kindness and gratitude for allowing me to experience the magic of human life? I know what I'm going to choose. What are you going to choose?